Hi everyone, this is Tanner here, and welcome back to the NFL podcast. Today, I'm going to be recapping the divisional games. I'm going to be giving you my championship game predictions. I'm going to be ranking all four possible Super Bowl matchups. So, let's get into things with the first game here on tap, which is going to be the Los Angeles Rams beating the Chicago Bears in a really fun game. This was a Sunday night game, and this one was really great to see with the Rams winning. But let's start with the Bears because I just gotta say I'm so impressed with this team. It's a tough loss at home in overtime, but there's a lot of good. And I think where this Bears team is at is I see this Bears team being like this Rams team in a couple years, where you have an amazing offensive minded coach. I think Sean McVay of the Rams is one of the better coaches in the NFL. And I think Ben Johnson, the head coach of the Bears, is already kind of almost there. I think Caleb Williams, the Bears quarterback, has so much potential. And I think this game showed a lot of that bright future, but also kind of some areas where they need to kind of improve. So let's kind of dive into that. So I think from the good from Ben Johnson, man, the fact that this team was able to play a tough, gritty game, a lower scoring game than I expected. I expected the Bears to win a high scoring game. None of that happened. I just was impressed with Ben Johnson keeping this one close, keeping this tough and physical. That's the thing is he not has only brought the flash, but he's kind of brought that physicality to it as well. And I just thought that that was great to see. I do think where Ben Johnson could be better is sometimes I think he gets too aggressive. There's a couple times in this game when they're going down the field, I'm thinking, Ben Johnson was that the best call in this situation. I think it was that pick in overtime. That was, I think, a big part of it. Was like you go down the field. Yes, great pick by the Rams defender. But if you kind of went down the field at a slower pace, you could have won. And I just kind of felt that way with the Bears this season. I think sometimes Ben Johnson, and I don't blame him, right? When I play Madden, which is not the same thing as coaching, but when I play Madden, right, I'll be like, oh, I want to, okay, the offense is working. Let's try to go for the dagger. It just makes sense. Sometimes those not the best call. But the best thing about this is, if you're a Bears fan, is that Ben Johnson, he's only going to get better at this. I mean, this was his first year as a head coach, just the first year. He was 2 games away from the Super Bowl. This guy has so much potential. And the fact that he went head to head with Sean McVay is amazing. And speaking of going head to head, Caleb Williams was fantastic at times in this game. That touchdown throw in 4th and 4, he's drifting back from the 40, launches it. It's caught in the end zone here by Cole Kmet. What an amazing play. I mean, the fact that Caleb Williams not only had that, but several other great throws, great runs. He just leaves it on the field. And I think Caleb Williams, in a year or two, is going to be one of these elite quarterbacks in the NFL. I think there's a lot to like about what Caleb Williams can do on the field, and he just kind of brings everything to the game. And there are some picks in there, and I think at the end of the day, yes, that is stuff to be ironed out. I just do think part of that is Caleb Williams' kind of just play style. There's more quarterbacks in the NFL, whether it be say Brett Favre of all time, right? You look at him. Look at a guy, kind of one of these gunslingers. Eli Manning was this way a lot. Where sometimes just quarterbacks, even Drew Brees, and had some seasons with some higher picks. Baker Mayfield. Josh Allen earlier career. Sometimes quarterbacks are just like that. But I think what's just exciting as a Bears fan is that the way Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams are going to continue to develop is just really exciting. And I think the fact that we're in year 2, we're seeing Caleb Williams make these fantastic throws. I mean, the throw in this game and the throw against the Packers on 4th down, those are 2 plays that are going to be talked about in 10 years as some of the most iconic in NFL, history and maybe like this kind of just century. I don't know. Like, I honestly think Caleb Williams has shown so much good, and you just really like what you're seeing here from Chicago. Also, think too, defensive coordinator Dennis Allen is going to stay another year, right? That's something that you're really excited about because I thought this Bears defense did a really good job in this game. They really held the Rams receivers, like Puka Nacua, the Rams receiver. He was good. He had some nice catches, but it wasn't like he was going off for 100 yards. Devontae Adams had a clutch catch in this game, but besides that, nothing else really. So I don't know. I like the Bears a lot next year, and I mean, this team was awesome to watch. I'm not a Bears fan, but they had so many awesome games this year. They were fun to watch. The good, better, best chance. I'm going to miss it. I am. But what a game. What just a start to this new era in Chicago. And I think if you're a Bears fan, you're feeling pretty good despite the loss. Like I said, if you can just tune that play calling with Ben Johnson a bit more, and I think as time goes on, that's where I see this team just. I see the Bears being really good. I think in next year they could be in the NFC title game. But let's talk about the Rams here, who are going to be in the NFC title game. Very nice win for this team. In terms of takeaways, I thought Matthew Stafford played really nice in this game. I just have been impressed with Stafford's clutchness and kind of building upon the note. Like I said, Caleb Williams sometimes is a bit of aggressive thrower of the football. I think Matthew Stafford was that way earlier in his Rams days, but he's really tuned down the interceptions. And I thought there was some great job just reading the field this game, just kind of navigating his reads, his windows. There's some really nice stuff here with Stafford, and I just think that he is someone that, when time comes, can get in the rhythm with these receivers, hit these out routes, just really do a great job of his vision on the field. Sometimes he won't lock on. Like, there's just it's so much greatness to see, and it's really fantastic to watch. I do have one con about the Rams because I thought the defense did very well. I thought Chris Shula did a great job, the defensive coordinator for the Rams. I do think that Sean McVay's play calling is sometimes the opposite of Ben Johnson. Sometimes it gets a bit too safe, right? The Rams that coach Sean McVay. I love Sean McVay. I think he's one of the better coaches, but sometimes the play calling gets a bit too safe. Sometimes a bit too run heavy. And like the Bears pass defense was playing pretty good, but I'm like, I kind of wish they aired it out a bit more here. And I just think overall, Sean McVay, the best moments in the Rams, his time, comes when he's more aggressive as a play caller, right? I always go back to that 2021 postseason where you had that divisional round against the Buccaneers where you win that game because Matthew Stafford threw a deep ball to Cooper Kupp, right, in 2021. You look at the Super Bowl that year where the Rams won against the Bengals as because of more aggressive play calling. So I love Sean McVay. I think he seems like an awesome dude, awesome NFL mind. I just wish he was a bit more aggressive at times. But yeah, very much a tough, gritty win. Both teams seems like they could have won here. And Rams just were able to get it done. I think it just came down to experience at the end of the day. And I think this Rams defense, too, that's the other thing. This was a really elite performance by them. The Rams defense has been a bit of a issue now, something I mentioned last week when they beat the Panthers, and they did a really great job next week, and they set up a really interesting game with them against the Seattle Seahawks, who just completely destroyed the San Francisco 49ers in this game. This was the Seahawks' first playoff win since 2019, 41-6. This one wasn't even really close. So kind of breaking down here, this one, some of the main highlights. Kenneth Walker, as you see the man picture there, I thought was awesome this game. He had 3 rushing touchdowns. And I'm a bit lower on Kenneth Walker. I think he's a pretty good back, but he looked great this game. I liked his vision. There's a lot of times where I think sometimes Kenneth Walker sometimes will just go running, and he has great speed, great strength. He's hard to tackle, but sometimes he just goes, where I think sometimes he should wait. I saw that waiting here, and I think that was just a really great element here to Walker's game. I thought that was just really nice to see. There's so many times I'm like, how this kind of looks like a difficult run to make, and Kenneth Walker did that. And it's like, if you have this version of Kenneth Walker for Seattle for the NFC title game, this is going to be a tough team to beat because this team can throw it as well. Sam Darnold was really, really nice in this game. He played, he had the oblique injury, but he played. They didn't ask him to pass a whole ton because this was a run game for Seattle, but he was great. That throw to JSN, chef's kiss in the end zone. Also liked here, like this Seahawks offense is simple yet very effective, and they had like a little slant route here to Jake Bobo, who's kind of like a Seahawks kind of fan favorite. It was only like 8 yards, but it's like a good play, and just Seattle knows just how to kind of call the game, call the tempo, where they run it. Sam Darnold plays well, and this defense is allowed to do their thing. And wow, I think this Seahawks defense is, I think, the most underrated unit in the NFL within over the past 5 years. Like, this defense is amazing. Like, it's really just insane because they all seem connected so well mentally. There's individually, great players. Devon Witherspoon's an elite, shutdown cornerback. He is really good. DeMarcus Lawrence is having an amazing season at edge rusher. You have Byron Murphy at defensive tackle. There's so many great things with these players. They have really good players on the roster, but it's just the ability to like just kind of see a play and like how to move and how to attack it and where to go on the field. that I think you just go to coaching. And Mike McDonald, I think, is a top four head coach in NFL, top three. I mean, he is doing a fantastic stuff. I mean, it's not just, it's not like this team has really good players, but it's just the way they play, how unified they are. And the fact that the 49ers could not get one touchdown. This is Kyle Shanahan with the San Francisco 49ers, right? Kyle Shanahan could not get one touchdown on this team. I think just really shows to Seattle. So this Seahawks team, it's hard to compare them to the Legion of Boom, right? But they're different in different ways. But they're both effective, right? That historic Seahawks Legion of Boom defense. And like the fact that Seattle has been having an awesome defense since like week one. Week one, the Seahawks played the Niners and held them to like only 18 points. Like they've been in the lead since day one, and they did it here. I mean, I just love it. I just love it. And you have a great offense too, right? We'll talk about here. Great defense does not mean it does not mean everything. But yeah, you had the return touchdown by Rashid Shaheed, the kickoff return touchdown. Fantastic atmosphere. I mean, this Seahawks team is amazing. I think they're the best team left. I could go on gushing of them for half an hour, right? I think just secondary, pass rush are all unified. They're all great. I think there's just so much to like about them. And yeah, I think they're the Super Bowl favorites. I just think they're fantastic. Let's talk about the Niners. At the end of the day, this was just kind of ran out of juice. This team, with all the injuries they've had, they have done such a good job getting to here, and it just seems like they were kind of just out of it. The O-line was just getting beat. The Seahawks pass rush was relentless. Like, oh my gosh, Brock Purdy. I think Brock Purdy, like, here's the thing. Brock Purdy, a lot of people are really kind of crapping on him. Here's my thing. You could have put Lamar Jackson on this Niners team. You could put Josh Allen. You could put Mahomes, Burrow. You could have put Steve Young, Aaron Rodgers. This is probably the same outcome. This is just a really, really, really good Seahawks defense. I just think the Niners, with all their injuries, kind of ran out of steam. The one thing was in this game of why the Niners, I think, kind of struggled was Christian McCaffrey really did not get going anywhere. Seahawks were swarming the line every time McCaffrey got the football. Whoa, there was a Seahawks defender. It was just really insane, to be honest, here. So without the running game, when Purdy went to pass, the Seahawks kind of knew what was going on. So what a season from the Niners. I don't know. I don't come out of here being angry at this Niners team at all. I don't think there's a huge issue. I do think you could upgrade a receiver, but yeah, at the end of the day, with all the injuries, kind of stuff happens when it's hard to run the football. I mean, that's really where this game was decided. Seahawks ran the football well. They won. Niners didn't. They lost. But what a season, though, from the Niners. I mean, this team really just was so impressive this year getting here. Unfortunately, though, this season does end for the Niners. But a lot of respect to this coaching staff. And yeah. And I think I want to go ahead and just talk about the NFC title game right now, right? We have the LA Rams against the Seattle Seahawks here. Part 3. The Rams beat the Seahawks in LA. The Seahawks beat LA in Seattle. We have this game taking place in Seattle here. What just a really cool storyline, right? This NFC West has been monstrous this year, except for the Cardinals. They have been an amazing division. And I love here that the final game for the NFC is between these two teams. I think these have been the best teams in the NFC throughout. Seattle for sure, LA. But LA's here, right? And LA looked really strong throughout a lot of this season. So this is it. This feels right. I think Seattle wins. I do. I think that the Seahawks offense and defense are just really in a good position right now. And I think this team just seems like they don't fall into trap games. That was the thing with the Niners Seahawks. I'm like, my kind of takeaway was whoever wins that is going to, like the winner of Rams Bears wins the NFC, because whoever wins Seahawks Niners is going to be it's just going to be a tough battle. That wasn't really the case. The Seahawks dominated. It seems like there's a confidence here. And I think with Seattle, they matched up very well against the Rams. Like I mentioned earlier, Devon Witherspoon's a really good cornerback, so I really think he could go match up very well with the Rams receivers, Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams. And I think, too, the Rams defense, while they're playing better, I have some question marks. And I think that if, this Seahawks offense just has really been, kind of knowing their way. And I just, you kind of look at the Rams' run defense recently. It's been better, but they have that huge Week 17 game where they gave up a big game to Bijan Robinson on the ground to the Falcons in Week 17. What if Kenneth Walker has a big game here, right? That could be a case for Seattle. And then it's like, well, the Seahawks win there. And then It's like, okay, if you stop the run, then you have to worry about JSN. And like the Rams have really nice corners. Shout out Emmanuel Forbes, who's having a great season, but they don't have that number one. So it's like, okay, so then what if you stop JSN? But then what about, okay, Cooper Cup, former LA Ram on the Seattle Seahawks. He might be playing with a bit more, let's go and get the win, a chip on his shoulder to get to another Super Bowl. And then it's like, well, okay. Then you have a good Seattle line. I do like the Rams pass rush, but kind of the point is, I think the Rams are going to have trouble answering the Seahawks, where I think Seattle is better suited for Los Angeles. Now, this is still a tough matchup. This is still Matthew Stafford, who I think is one of the better quarterbacks of all time. This is still Sean McVay, who's an amazing head coach. I just do like the way the Seahawks have matched up against the Rams. I go back to that game on Thursday night, what was that, week 16, where for me, what really stood out was the Seahawks were able to get pass rush on Matthew Stafford, make him uncomfortable, and I think Mike Macdonald's going to do that again. The thing with Mike Macdonald, the Seahawks head coach, is he seems like that, like, you look, like, kind of my thing is, it's like, if he knows a way to beat you, he he knows. That's not like, oh, the teams have trouble countering him. You look at the Niners this year. Each time the Niners play the Seahawks, they struggled offensively, right? The last time the Rams played the Seahawks, Matthew Stafford had a big game passing, but the team struggled at the end. So I think Mike Macdonald just knows how to kind of beat teams. So I just like Seattle a lot in this. Now, could I see the Rams winning for sure? Sean McVay does his thing. He is awesome, and I could see that. And it's like, okay, but I really do like Seattle. And I think, at Seattle, this is huge. The fans are going to be out there. They're going to be roaring in their seats, right? And I don't know. I like the Seahawks a lot. But this is such a cool matchup. Also, congrats on Sam Darnold for winning his first playoff game. Just really an amazing thing for Darnold. And I think the other thing, too, is that I think this will be a close game. I do think that both of these teams might not be here for a while after this. That's another take I want to make. Is to kind of enjoy it if you're fans of these teams. I think the Rams is okay after this as Matthew Stafford. Like, he could play another year and be great, but okay. What does he regress a bit of his age? And then Seattle, this is a historic defense, but we saw the Legion of Boom Seahawks defenses regress over time. So just kind of enjoy it, right? That's my main thing. And I think Seattle could be in maybe they could be in another NFC title game. We never know. I think they'll have a really good season next year, but we just kind of seen sometimes with these defenses, when they're elite, they'll have them for a couple years, but then teams catch on, right? Taken from a Ravens fan in 2023, we had an elite defense with Mike Macdonald, and then Mike Macdonald left for the Seahawks. But Mike Macdonald's done a fantastic job. But yeah, I'm just really, really excited for this one here in Seattle. I think it'll be really good. Interesting here to see how Sean McVay calls this game, how aggressive he is or not. If I'm Sean McVay, I would kind of go aggressive, right? Kind of throw it to these receivers. I worry about this Seattle run defense. I really do. I would kind of pass it out and see how it goes. And if I'm the Rams, I would rather kind of lose off the armor of Matthew Stafford than lose because you couldn't run it. So, yeah. And if I'm Seattle here, I'm trying to run it, kind of really be in control of this game. Seattle's one of those teams, too, that seems like to me they have trouble choking leads. So I think once they have a lead, that'll be it. And yeah, I'm going to go Seahawks 29. I'm going to go Rams 22 or 21. I think it'll be somewhere around there. But I do think the Seahawks win and go back to the Super Bowl. What a matchup here. Last year we had the NFC East duel, right? Eagles Commanders. That was a pretty one-sided Eagles win. I think this one's closer. But I have the Seahawks winning in this NFC West duel. And now let's move on here to the AFC games. We still have to go through the AFC games. But I do think both of these are going to be a bit quicker. Let's talk about New England beating Houston, shall we? So, at the end of the day here, this game was kind of close in the third quarter. It was about, I think, 21-10 or 21-13. At this point, you're close. And yes, CJ Stroud had a very ugly first half. A lot of turnovers. But this game was still winnable, right? I'm like, okay, Texans defense has done good. They were forcing some fumbles on Drake May. It was a still winnable game for Houston, but then this thing kind of fell apart. So first of all, kind of the two issues that the Texans have had offensively kind of came into play. Bland play calling and battle line play. There's just so many times late in this third quarter. It was still a close game. But this Houston O-line was just getting destroyed. And credit to Mike Vrabel, this pass rush was great. Credit to Caleb Chason, former Jaguar first rounder. He's had a really nice year. He's had, 7.5 sacks. He had a big sack in this game on C.J. Stroud, the Texans quarterback. Was like, that Chason sack really impacted this game. And the O-line has to be fixed for Houston. That is kind of been something everyone has said, but it really kind of came true in this game where, yeah, I think O-line just, at the end of the day, you need to upgrade it. You have a lot of picks. Go upgrade the O-line here. And then, in terms of kind of the play calling, it's not terrible. It's just very bland. I don't know what else to put it here, but yeah, I would say bland, where it's just kind of is what it is. It reminds me about the Eagles' play calling, where they have a great defense and it just kind of played safe. And I'm just like, go and do more, right? If you're Houston, I mean, in this game, like, your defense is playing pretty good. Go and try to do some stuff. Get creative and just, there wasn't any there. So I don't know. I just got really disappointed by the play calling, and it seems like that's kind of been the issue with the Texans last year and this year. It's like, okay, the play calling needs to be better. It's really good in 2023, but the past couple of years it struggled. And we kind of saw that bland play calling play out because this team was driving down the field again. It's like 21-10 and 21-13, still a winnable game. And it's like a pass on 3rd and goal. Marcus Jones, the Patriots cornerback, reads it amazingly, bats it away. And I'm like, if you have better play calling, maybe the Patriots don't read it. Maybe this is so many other things here. But at the end of the day, it is New England win just because of those issues with Houston. I also think too, CJ Stroud did not play well at all. That is a big issue because he had a good season, but man, 2 ugly playoff games, and I'm like, I don't know what you do for the Texans because it's not like it's a quarterback to upgrade, but CJ Stroud's going into year 4. I don't think you pay him. I think you give CJ Stroud another year, and I think the thing with Stroud is that he kind of has the aggressive trait in him where sometimes it's like in this game, he's getting pressured or something's not open and he forces it. And it's like, ugh. I'm a critic of Jared Goff, the Lions quarterback, sometimes for playing it safe. But at least Jared Goff isn't a big turnover guy. And I think CJ Stroud, like the thing is, when you have an awesome Texans defense, play within the confines of your system, live to see another down. But the thing is like, oh, I'm going to have a pick. And I'm not saying he's mean to do that, but when you play risky, when you play aggressive, then the defense has short fields, and then you have losing games. So, I don't know. I don't want to panic full scare about CJ Stroud. I think you give him another year. But the fact that we are talking about this is not something you would want to go if you're a fan of Houston. And yeah, it's disappointing for the season 10. I think, though, the fact they made the playoffs is great. But my kind of thing is, the Texans under DeMeco Ryans have ended this season the same way 3 straight years. 2023, you beat the Browns in the wild card, you lose to the Ravens in the divisional round. Last year, 2024, you beat the Chargers in the wild card round, you lose to the Chiefs in the divisional round. This year, you beat the Steelers in the wild card round, you lose to the Patriots in the divisional. Same thing year in and year out. Now, it's great. Yes, you're winning a playoff game. You have 3 playoff wins. You also have 3 playoff losses. And I do like DeMeco Ryans as a head coach. But I don't know. I think you need an upgrade. Not an upgrade to DeMeco, my bad. You keep DeMeco Ryans. But I think you just need an upgrade with this offensive philosophy, this team. It just needs to, I think, expand a bit more on the offense, right? I think you have the playmakers. Now, I understand Nico Collins, star receiver, was out for the Texans. But if Nico Collins plays, I don't know if you win this game still. So just a lot to process with Houston. And I think that you need to get over the hump, right? Yes, you like to win playoff games, but you need something to change here because you can't keep doing this, right? But overall, a season that you battle through, you made it. Let's see how they can upgrade. But the Patriots, they win. Overall, very solid game from them. Defensively played great. This is just such a smooth defense. It reminded me a lot of Seattle's. And I think that the offense had a pretty nice game. The Drake May fumbles, I'm not too worried about. I thought this was a good game to counter this defense. There's a lot of just to Josh McDaniels, where I think he does a good job of getting the ball out quickly, right? It's sometimes short, but sometimes deep. He just does a good job where it's like Drake May takes a snap and some guy's open. It's just very quick and speedy, and I think Houston struggled with that. You talk about the Kayshon Boutte touchdown to pretty much win it, to make it 28 points. I mean, that was an awesome throw, awesome catch, really poetry in motion, made to Booty to win it. And I just think New England is just running very well. They're not a team. I think Drake May's a strength, and I think cornerback Christian Gonzalez is a strength, but they're just a team that runs so well. So well. And they win, and they're going to the AFC title game the first time since the 2018 season. So, very nice win for the Patriots. I know I haven't had a ton of takeaways on the podcast, right? When I talk about New England, it's kind of the same. Where it's like, oh, they play very well. They play great defense. Drake May he makes some great plays down the field. But that's what this team is. And we have an identity of play smooth offensively, play great defensively. Drake May's great down the field, quick offense. And you have success. When you have a formula, that's what makes good teams good. And I see New England being a successful team for years to come with Drake May here. This team just knows who they are. And I think that's a really good and a really dangerous thing. But yeah, New England wins. And then we have Bills Broncos. And I'm going to walk backwards here. And the reason I'm sighing is because of this man on the thumbnail, Bo Nix, who plays awesome in this game, but is out for the season because on one of the last plays of the game, he had, I believe, a broken ankle. And I feel for Bo Nix. I do. I have been a Bo Nix defender. I've been someone who really has liked him. And to see him play awesome in this game, I mean, so many great plays, and to see it just him be out for the rest of the season. I've never seen anything like it in the NFL. I really haven't. I just feel for Bo Nix, y'all. And I was excited because I was taking notes. I was going to talk about this game first here. Like I said, I was going to talk about, Bills Broncos and the back and forth game, and just the Bo Nix injury was such just a devastating loss in all honesty. And I feel bad for Broncos fans. I do, because Bo Nix is out for the season. Crazy. And I just feel for him. And I want to talk about this Denver team, right? But it's going to be a bit of a different conversation. And this game overall, too, just has some really questionable calls at the end by the refs. This game, I've never seen a game peak so highly and then dip down so lowly, and all in a span of like an hour. But yeah, other notes from the Broncos. I do think Sean Payton did a good job play calling. I do think sometimes he gets a bit too safe, sometimes a bit too run heavy. The defense as well, I also was kind of like, oh, they could have been better. Now, they had some big turnovers on Josh Allen, a strip sack, a pick, but there's a lot of times where the Bills were attacking the flats of this game, going to James Cook, going over the middle of the field. I'm like, the Broncos defense just didn't play as well. Now, they got the turnovers, but the Broncos have been a team this year that's been really good at kind of limiting kind of plays, playing very stiff. In this game, they didn't. So I just go into the AFC Championship game with Denver winning it, but having a lot of question marks. But I'll talk about the AFC title game. The Bills, they lose this game. Just fire Sean McDermott. What are we doing here? I mean, all the Bills' playoff losses, right, feels like is Sean McDermott's defense since 2020. 2020, you lose an AFC title game to the Chiefs. Mahomes has a great game against you. 2021, you lose to the Chiefs. Was it 17 seconds? The Chiefs come back and win. 2022, Joe Burrow dices up your defense. 2023, lose to the Chiefs. The defense wasn't terrible, but still could have been better. Last year, same deal. And then this year, you give up 33 points. So Broncos offense, played very well, but they've been limited this year. And I'm just like, it's year after year after year after year of the same thing, right? The same thing with Sean McDermott. It's just, it annoys me so much. Now, Sean McDermott seems like a great dude. And if the Bills do fire him, I think he could be a very good kind of mentor role with another team. Like, he seems like a good guy, but I'm just not a fan of his defense. I'm just not. And the thing is, it seemed like this game, Bo Nix was hardly under pressure, so the pass rush is pretty much gone. And when the pass rush has issues, the secondary, right, when that pressure's in there, the secondary has trouble covering. It's just the same issues occur. And it's like, Sean McDermott's defenses are not that aggressive. They're more so safe. Okay, at the end of the day, cool. But if you want to play safe, you got to have great coverage. And you kind of don't. They're fine. It was the most predictable thing on earth in this game when it was, 23-27, that the Broncos were going to score, make it 30-27, and that, they're going to score. And I called it out while watching this game, and they do. And it's just the same thing with with McDermott. It's the same thing year after year. And I don't know, y'all. I just get so angry, and not just angry, but just so disappointed, right, for Josh Allen, the Bills fans, because it's like, you gotta do something, man. You gotta do something to change stuff, and it's the same thing. So we'll see what happens. I think the thing is with Sean McDermott is he's not a bad coach. I don't want it to seem like that, but he's good enough to get you there, but not enough to go over the hump. So then you're like, well, we're in this spot year after year after year. It's the same thing with the Bills. Yes, Josh Allen had some turnovers. Yes, he could have played better, but his defense needs to improve quickly. And the Bills too, man. I'm kind of disappointed in this team's culture. They were on social media, and Sean McDermott's like, I'm standing up for Buffalo and questioning the officials in this game. Like, Bills, you lost the game. Move on. Okay, you lost. Like, I just, I think that's kind of a dangerous precedent here. To kind of lose this game, on social media be posting, complaining about the ref. Yes, there was some questionable calls. I thought this game was poorly called. I do. I agree. I think the Broncos were the better team and deserved to win. But at the end of the day, my thing with Sean McVay, with Sean McDermott and the Bills is, I just don't want this to trickle down. I don't want this to be a thing where the Bills are kind of angry this offseason, right? They're going and they're just kind of having this vendetta. I think you got to kind of lower the temperature, right? Say, okay, that was an issue. Move on, kind of rebuild. I don't want this to hang over the team in a bad way, and this team has bad energy, because I think that could definitely be an issue. But yeah, a little rant there. But I just year after year, man, for the Bills. And I didn't love the attitude at all. Josh Allen, though, like I said, some turnovers, but all played very well. The Bills do lose in another predictable way, and I predicted the Broncos to win, but just the way it was done for the Bills, we've seen it all too much here. And then we got to go with the AFC Championship here. We got ourselves the Patriots against the Broncos, 2015, 10 years later, right? So, here's my thing with this game. I think it's a cool matchup. And I do want to talk about this guy right here, Jarrett Stidham, who's the starting quarterback with Bo Nix being out. Jarrett Stidham is no slouch. Stidham, if you know about him, so he was drafted by the Patriots in, I believe, 2019. He then went with Josh McDaniels to the Raiders in 2022. Started a game, played very well against the Niners defense that year. And then has been with Sean Payton kind of in recent years. And here's the thing about Stidham. I think he has solid accuracy, can get the ball out quickly, and I think he can operate this Broncos offense to a decent measure. But I think the biggest thing with Jarrett Stidham is that his elusiveness in the pocket. And I don't know if he has it. I think one thing that Bo Nix did very well this season, especially in the Bills game, is avoiding pressure. Pressure comes in, he avoids it. We saw that time and time again in that Bills-Broncos game. And I just think that Jarrett Stidham, I don't know if he has that. And I see this game kind of going down where Stidham is playing solid, this team's playing good, but this Patriots defense, that pass rush is going to come in, Stidham's going to have trouble in the pocket, and the Patriots are going to win this game. Even if Bo Nix was healthy, this is Bo Nix versus Drake May, I still honestly pick New England. I do like the Patriots in this one. I just think the Broncos defense is concerning me a bit. Over the middle of the field, Josh McDaniels, I think, is going to really be able to attack that. He's going to really be able to say boom, 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 boom over the middle of the field. And I really do worry about that with Denver. But I think this game is very interesting, because I think this is kind of a legacy game for both quarterbacks. In terms of the Drake May of it all here, I mean, if you go to a Super Bowl year one, even if you don't win it, I think he's in that top quarterback conversation already. I probably have him like 8 or 9. He's probably top 5 or 6. And you can put him ahead of some guys. If he wins this game, do you put him ahead of a guy like Justin Herbert? I don't know. We'll do that conversation later here. But I think there's a lot on the line for Drake May, right? Last year, Jane Daniels with the Commanders, he made the NFC Championship game, ultimately lost it. Drake May could be the first quarterback from his draft class to make the Super Bowl, right? Caleb Williams lost. The Bears are out. Jason McCarthy, Michael Penix, they're out. Jane Daniels, he's out. Bo Nix, he's out. Drake May could be the first one. And I think Jarrett Stidham of this is interesting too, because I could see a world here where Stidham plays really well, right? As I mentioned, and maybe the Broncos win this game. If he wins the Super Bowl, even like let's say he wins this game, has 2 touchdowns. Let's say he's like 17 or 31, 235, 2 touchdowns. Then goes to the Super Bowl. The Broncos lose, but he has 1 touchdown, 1 pick, 200 yards. Maybe he has a rushing touchdown, so something like that. does Jared Stidham get like a big contract? If you're like the Browns or the Dolphins, and if Stidham plays well, do you call him up? The Jets? I don't know. This thing just gets really interesting really quickly, and like part of me is really bummed out that Bo Nix is not playing in this game. To be honest, Bo Nix versus Drake May would have been incredible, but I think Jared Stidham as well is interesting, and I think the other thing too is like Jared Stidham was a former Patriot, right? So I think there's still a cool narrative in it here, right? Where it's like, okay, how did Stidham do, y'all? I'm interested to see. And I think this Broncos team still has a lot of talented players. You still have Nick Bonito. You still have Jonathan Cooper. You still have Patrick Surtain. You still have Sean Payton, who's back in the title game, right? So there's a lot of excitement still in this game. And there's this rivalry renewed, right? 10 years ago. And when Peyton Manning was on the Broncos and Tom Brady was on the Patriots, there's a really cool rivalry. So I'm excited for that. I do think New England wins. I'm just worried with the middle of the field. And I think Drake May is going to have a really good game. I think the Patriots offense is going to be in control. I think they win, and the defense will make enough key plays. But really fun game, I think. I think it's a fun matchup. I think it'll be fun. I have the Patriots winning. I'm going to go 34-23. Something like that. I think it'll be kind of close at half. And I think Drake May is going to put the pen on the metal. And I think the Patriots win and go to the Super Bowl. And speaking of which, y'all, let's rank the 4 potential Super Bowl matchups, right? The final part of today's trilogy podcast, right? What do I have ranked as the possible Super Bowl matchups? All 4 of them. Let's start here. Want to go, I think, top to bottom. And this is a Super Bowl I think will happen, but I also think it's my number 1, Patriots-Seahawks. I will stand by that I think Patriots-Seahawks in 2014 is the best NFL game I've seen. And I was talking to a Seahawks fan the other day here, that Patriots win over the Seahawks in the Super Bowl still looms heavy on Seattle. So I think the fact that Seattle could redeem itself would just be such a cool narrative. I think too as well, this would just be a really interesting game. You have Drake May, the Patriots quarterback, right, who's been an MVP level quarterback this year, the chance to get his first ring against a great Seahawks defense. That's just really fun here. You have the battle of the 2 Mike head coaches. You have Mike Vrabel, right, trying to get his first ring as a head coach. Mike McDonald, can you do this thing in year 2? You have 2 great corners, Devon Witherspoon, Christian Gonzalez. You just have kind of this, 11 years later, if you will, with these new teams, but they still have Patriots and Seahawks tendencies. And can Sam Darnold get his ring? I think Sam Darnold versus Drake May is a fun quarterback matchup. Both of them have big arms, can hit the play. So I would love New England, Seattle. I just look at that, I'm like, yeah. Like, seeing that would be awesome. I would love that. That would be like an A plus matchup. Even if it's not as good as 2014, just the legacy on the line, it is really cool, right? And who gets the ring for the first time since the dynasty? The last time the Patriots got the ring was the dynasty they're in. The last time the Seahawks got a ring, it was in their dynasty. So who's the first one to get a ring since the dynasty here? I just really find this game intriguing. And I would have, I think Seattle winning, but I don't know. So that would be fun. The first ring since the dynasty, Seahawks, Patriots, is my number 1 option here for a Super Bowl, for a potential Super Bowl, right? That's what I have at number 1. Then at number 2, it is the first Super Bowl that will be the only Super Bowl matchup that is unique, that we have not seen before, the LA Rams against the Denver Broncos. This would be cool, because you have Matthew Stafford, right, versus that Broncos defense, the 2 Sean head coaches. It's funny we have 2 Seans and 2 Mikes left. That's really funny. I just don't realize that. And I just think this would be an interesting game, right? I think both of these teams are kind of on a similar trajectory as well. Both had really awesome defenses. Both are aggressing a bit. Both have, I think, sometimes too conservative kind of play calling tendencies. And that'll just be a unique matchup. Rams-Broncos. Like, whoa. Now, Bo Nix not being healthy is a bummer. I think if Bo Nix were healthy, this would maybe be number 1. I do like Seahawks Patriots, but that'll just be fun. Denver, LA, who wins it, I think it would be a kind of a close game of, I feel like the Rams would do well trying to go up against this Broncos defense, but I feel like the Broncos would, try to kind of fight back against the Rams, and just like, would the Rams put the finishing touch with Denver? Like, it would be a very tight game. I think it would be kind of high scoring as well. So yeah, I go Broncos-Rams, and I think this season's been about coaching, players stepping up, and you would see that, right? Jared Stidham versus Matt Stafford, I think, would be a good example of kind of the legacy coaching with the legacy play of the Rams against the underdog in the Broncos, and that's been this season. I mean, we've seen Mac Jones, we've seen guys like Tyler Huntley, Malik Willis, these underdogs step up. But we've also seen players who've been really good dominate. So I think this game would be a very good encapsulation of the season, and also be a great game. So I have a number 2. Close to number 1, but the Bo Nix injury does derail things. All right, number 3. This was close. I'm going to go Rams Patriots. I really like this one a lot too. I think this would be a really fun one. You have Matthew Stafford versus Drake May, the 2 MVP candidates this year. I'm trying to think the last time we've had that. I don't know. I'm trying to think in my mind. I don't know. Maybe 2022 with Mahomes and Hurts, but I don't know. This would be a bit different. So that's just really cool. Again, great coaches, Sean McVay versus Mike Vrabel. You have, a great offensive minded McVay. I do think as well, if the Rams win into the Super Bowl, McVay and Stafford go higher in some of these kind of all-time talks. If New England gets a ring, I think they start a dynasty. So I think this could cement a legacy for the Rams, begin a legacy for the Patriots. So I think that's really cool. The reason this is lower is that this is a rematch, and this will be the 3rd time. And the last time we saw this was 2018 regular season. 2018 seems like a while ago. Yeah, that was 8 years, but that's still recent enough here. I'm like, I just want something new. I do. I think this would be a fun game. I think it would be competitive. Great offenses, like I said, great quarterbacks. I'm just a bit low on it because of the fact that we just saw in 2018. Yes, Seahawks Patriots was a rematch, but that was 2014. That's 11 years. And I don't know, 2018, that still seems kind of recent. But yeah, Patriots Rams number 3. And then number 4, I think this one would be cool, but I have Seahawks Broncos. I just see this as a very low scoring game. I think Jared Stem against the Seattle defense would be Seahawks domination. I just see this as a Seattle win. And yes, this is a rematch, but the Seahawks blew out the Broncos. There's not really a rivalry there, I feel like. But like where Seattle, New England is huge. Denver, Seattle, not as much. This would be interesting, the fact of, okay, 2 great defense on the stage, who plays, and, can Sean Payton get another ring? Can Mike McDonald, get a ring? Like, there's some intrigue. I feel like this is fine, or this is cool, but it doesn't get me excited. I think all other 3 games, there's something there, right? Whether it be, 11 years later, a new matchup, an MVP duel. This one, there's not that thing that gets me, woohoo! It's like, okay, cool. But we'll see. And that does it, y'all. 42 minutes of podcasting. That was a lot of fun. Really like this. Like the way these are turning out. And let me know what y'all think. And until then, take care and have a good one.